What's going on? Welcome to Eclipse Theory Games, the podcast where we bring you the latest in gaming news, indie reviews, and everything else under the sun. My name is Kendall, and I'm here with my co-hosts,
Tony, aka Fat King Cole.
nice and simple, straightforward,
Yep.
effective, not a bad one. James, I feel like you got to start coming up with nicknames soon. I don't know why.
I feel like next episode I'm gonna come up with something.
Yeah, the peer pressure is there. It's like it's a theme now. I might need to nickname my damn self. Like I
Yeah.
don't even. Nobody's gonna know who the hell we are, fellas. But it's fine. But nah, we are back again, man. Another episode 64. Actually, shout out to Nintendo. Even though they're the one company,
Word.
we are not here to talk about damn near at all.
And that's their
Because
fault.
yeah, but I feel like next
They
week,
taking too
like
long.
yeah, they said they have some June joint coming, but right now we are here to talk about Summer Games Fest, which is like live and indirect. We already did our reaction to the PlayStation Showcase, but we waited till Sunday night to record this episode so that we can get both Summer Games Fest proper and the Xbox Showcase into the episode. We're
And it
not
was
going
the
to
right
do,
fucking decision.
oh my God, we have a lot to talk about, but I don't want to, not to spoil anything, but I can't wait to get to the Xbox part. But yeah, no, we're not gonna do some of the smaller showcases. I did check out like some of their devs and like I watched Devolver Digital's because their showcase is unhinged. If y'all don't watch
It's so
Devolver
funny.
Direct, bro, it's gonna sound weird, but I would go back and watch old Devolver Directs like from past years. That's such a weird thing because these are fucking advertisements. It's like watching Super Bowl commercial like montages or something, but they're that good. Like that's just fire. But we're not going to react to all of those. We're going to focus on pretty much the two big ones of this weekend, which was, like I said, Summer Game Fest and Xbox. Um, and I guess before we start, I want to kind of get the conversation going because we're going to go through the highlights. Probably not every game because we'll be here for 3 hours, but we'll go through like the biggest announcements and stuff like that. Give our impressions, talk about what's cool, what's happened, what really happened during the weekend. That's going to be worth taking a note that we probably missed some stuff, but that's how it goes. Before we get into all of that, I want to know how we're feeling about these two press conferences. And I want to start with Summer Games Fest because that's going to be an interesting combo. That was the one that went first. So, Tony, we kind of talked a little bit off air. So, James, I want to hear from you. How did you feel about the Summer Games? I mean, I guess we talked a little bit off air too, but, but yeah, how did you feel about it?
It was kind of lackluster.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was some cool things that I saw. Kind of like I said, we talked offline about it. But as overall, it was just like, nah. I mean,
We're not
whatever.
gonna,
Like, yeah,
yeah,
I wasn't. Nothing really caught my eye and was just like, oh my God, I've never seen that before. If that makes sense.
I feel that. I definitely feel. I would not argue with that. But before I give my impression, Tony, how did you can elaborate? Do you feel pretty much the same?
Actually, no. I was pretty good with it. I
Okay.
thought it was good relative to what we knew we were getting coming into this because everybody kept saying it's a down year, it's a down year. I'm like, no, people are getting laid off. Like it's not that it's a down year, it's that people are fucking up somewhere. But
Very fair.
I think this was the first time we had a big gaming industry show that was kind of indie focused. And there were some good things that came out of this that I think will probably by next year, I think it'll help expand the industry a bit because you're seeing that you can carry a big industry show with indies. So yeah, content wise, as far as just being fans of games, yeah, it wasn't all there. I mean, we got some, Dragon Ball and a couple other things, but I
Mhm.
think for the larger like picture for the health of the industry, this was a really good showcase because, like I said, for the longest, we had was Day of the Devs and stuff like that to highlight the indie shows, and we got basically what is E3 now that turned into an indie show out of necessity, but it still happened.
That is an interesting way to describe that perspective. Like I said, we talked a little bit to where like I feel like I fall somewhere. I would probably say I'm closer to James in that like I feel what you're saying, and that makes a lot of sense. I respect the fact that it's an indie focused show. I don't think there was enough cool indies there either that caught my eye. But the direction of the show is like is a conversation in and of itself. And I feel like first off, I want to shout out Jeff Keighley for starting with the layoffs and bringing up the top 10 list on Steam and pointing out the fact that 8 of them were like smaller developers or indie. You know what I mean? Like, I know that, caveats are there in that he was pretty much always being pressured to do so. You know what I mean? He had to bring this up at some point. Like,
Here's the
um,
thing. He didn't.
he really
He
didn't
didn't.
have to. Like,
So I want to give him props for that because he didn't have to do it, and people will find a way to nitpick and say one, yeah, he got pressured into it, or two, he could have said more, and it's like, nah, he said exactly probably what he could say and what he should have said. Like there was nothing. You want him to say it because he's running basically the biggest gaming event of the year,
right.
but there was only but so much the motherfucker could say.
Things have kind of
Like
shifted with Kelly showcases, and I feel like one good benchmark to look at is I don't know if y'all remember how he carried the fuck out of Konami right after they fucked Kojima over. Um, like he pretty much used his stage to be like, yeah, that was trash. I don't, I'm not gonna remember the details exactly, but I remember him giving Kojima quite a stage and kind of making a statement about how that whole situation was handled. And now you see spoilers. Metal Gear Solid was at the Xbox showcase. I'm sure Jeff would have liked to have that at his showcase, but that wasn't about to happen. I feel like I don't know. I'm not saying that necessarily they held a grudge or anybody's being petty like that, but it probably does sour relationships a little bit when you have such a big platform that you want to keep uh as many people coming in to work with you as possible. It doesn't necessarily make that right, but it's just the reality of what might be happening behind the scenes of that. You know what I mean? So, like you said, there's only so much he could say, and he did say a lot enough. I feel like it shouldn't be controversial to point out what's happening. Like people are being laid off; these are people's lives. So,
yeah,
you know,
I
that
mean,
was a good look,
he said they disappointed us all. I mean,
right?
yeah.
Like, I mean, that's just the facts. You know what I mean? And yeah, no, there's a lot of indie games to talk about. I don't have a particularly structured list of what I felt like was highlights. I feel like this is gonna be one of those episodes where we kind of go off, but I do have the full rundown pulled up if we need to kind of remember what happened. But I feel like there was enough interesting stuff announced that we can just kind of throw shit out there. I do want to start at the top though, because the first thing that we saw was a fascinating game. It is a Lego Horizons game. Lego Horizon Adventures is coming out later this year. It's coming to PlayStation, PC, and Switch. So we're getting a Horizon game that's coming to Switch, a Horizon game that's clearly geared for kids. You know what I mean? It's an interesting direction for PlayStation to be taking with one of their franchises, and I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect that either, but a Lego game has never failed me in the past.
That's
I've never played a bad Lego game.
100%.
So I don't think that this will be anything either. But I do think, like I said, it is something that kids can gravitate towards and get into. I don't, really see a kid playing Horizon. The regular game is going to be like me when I was trying to play Ocarina of Time and was stuck on the first level for 10 years.
Yeah.
It'll probably be the same thing. So this will give them something to kind of get in that same world and kind of expand their horizon. No pun intended.
I don't believe
Is
that,
there a
but
tomato
okay.
button?
And so they can get into the games and like I said, but it looks interesting, even for like I said myself, that's something that I might check out as well.
Same. Yeah, I kind of it's definitely on the lighthearted side, but if you go on lighthearted, Lego is a great place to go. Like you said, there's not
Yeah.
been any bad Lego games for real. It's gonna be really weird to watch Aloy run around with the hot dog suit, dude. You know what I mean? Like that's going to like she built a Ferris wheel. Like where y'all like a tribe or whatever. What's going
Lego
on?
humor, man.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm not mad. Like it's turning into like something fun, but just you have your theme or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at that part of it, but it's going to be very, very interesting and a expansion of what PlayStation is used to. But that's pretty much all our thoughts on that. Oh no, we have to talk about the fact that it's coming to the Switch. Um, and the fact that PlayStation was very blunt about why it's not coming to Xbox. They were like, are these games are I forget how they worded it exactly. I wish I had it pulled up, but they actually did a pretty open tell-all where they were like, Yeah, we're trying to put our different games, like our weirder or more expensive experimental or smaller games, onto more platforms so we can bring more people in to play the main game on PlayStation. Like it's very clear that that's what they're doing, but it's refreshing to have a person. I think it was Herman Hulst, who is now one of the CEOs of PlayStation, actually come out and just straight up say that. And they were like, we're not going to put them on direct competitors. They don't consider like the Switch a direct competitor to the PlayStation 5,
And it's
which
not.
is, yeah, it's clearly not. Like it's they both can coexist and like trade places on the charts. You know what I mean? And both people can eat. So I just find that really fascinating that they're bringing this to Switch and expanding this clearly PlayStation franchise to different platforms.
You know,
Lego
it's not
God
a
of War.
direct competitor. If you ever seen the graphic comparison of Homelander and how he looks on all the systems, and the one on the Switch is like a horrible thing to see.
Man,
Yeah,
that Mortal Kombat 1 just looks bad in general on the
it's
Switch. It's just
crazy.
it's
Yeah,
all bad.
yeah, but something smaller like this I can dig. Something bigger like that, you definitely want to come to the more powerful console. And there's not really an option to bring Forbidden West to the Switch because that joint would look like a potato. So
No.
Switch would explode.
exactly. Now, Switch 2, that joint gonna be running Cyberpunk 2. I don't care. I'm saying it now. Um,
Yeah,
hopefully. But next game I actually have down here, we got another look at Star Wars Outlaws. I just wanted to briefly touch on the fact that this game looks like it's shaping up really well. It's giving me big Jedi Survivor vibes. And if y'all heard me talk about Jedi Survivor when I was playing it earlier this year, that's a fucking fantastic game. They have found a lane for Star Wars games, and I'm fucking with the way that they're going. This looks like the same type of vibe, but a Han Solo coded character instead of a Luke Skywalker coded character. So we will actually find out more about that one. I think it's tomorrow on Monday, the day this episode premieres. So I should say today, pardon me, on the Ubisoft Direct because they're going to kind of deep dive into that a little bit more. But let me see. I'm gonna go through my list, but I want y'all to throw out some that y'all are like hype
Oh,
about in particular.
I'm here for all the Blumhouse shit.
That's literally what I
Every
had next.
every single one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's mad different. Like that's unique as hell having a movie studio. If you're not familiar, Blumhouse, the movie studio that makes uh your favorite horror movies. Like they make a ton of horror movies. And they're branching into games, and the way they're doing it is an initiative that's just like giving a bunch of indie platforms an opportunity to make the weirdest horror games imaginable. Like one of them is like a PS1 style horror game, which is kind of popping right now. I've seen like 3 of those this year, but they got a couple different like very unique looking horror games in there, and I'm looking forward to seeing their particular brand on this.
Yeah, I can't wait. Eyes out. I mean, they what they working on.
Man,
Here for it.
absolutely.
Fear the spotlight. That looked like the type of game that you'll throw up on Twitch and just watch the creator just shit his pants the entire time.
Absolutely.
It's basically another Rashad Stark game. So
100%.
run that shit, man. Run that
I
shit when
love
it come out.
Absolutely. I get through my shifts at work, which are long as hell, watching that type of shit. So I can fuck with all that.
But yeah, I think it's just dope to have like an actual focus on horror games that isn't the standard shit like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and then you'll get like
Thanks.
that one kind of like third tier joint that drops that
Until
like
dawn.
the Evil Within, yeah,
Yeah, that
Until
too.
Dawn, the Evil Within, that type of shit. Like, nah, man, let the indies just run up in here and do all kinds of weird, goofy shit. Like, I'm gonna fuck your head. I'm gonna fuck your head up and probably make you sad. But imagine if Earthbound was a horror game. Like, this is the type of shit we'd be getting.
There's a game that's literally that. I gotta remember what the name of that game is. It's like it looks like a Game Boy game. Like almost I think it might actually be green. Like, but it's like just that straight up. And that's exactly to your point, like this game is dope. That type of shit is awesome. And because we talking about indies real quick, I want to segue into what Inner Sloth Games is doing because Inner Sloth Games is the company that made Among Us. If you're not hip, where have you been for the last 10 years? Like Among Us took over the world. You know what I mean? It had his whole moment. It's got a show coming apparently with like a crazy cast. And they just started making all this money to the point where they canceled Among Us too, and we're like, we just gonna focus on making this fucking even better because like y'all clearly love this game. Um, we were all sitting here like, okay, what are they gonna do with like on the low? You always look at these companies that like come into this crazy success and like what are they gonna do with all of that money? Like where you make a studio, where you start doing crazy, 3D action games or whatever. Instead, Inner Sloth opened up Outer Sloth Games, which is an initiative for indie games to be published and like pushed through their platform. And they actually have a litany of games that's actually already announced underneath this initiative. And it's the exact type shit you love to see in the industry. Like this was one of the highlights of the show to me, just because I know like so much cool stuff is coming from this partnership, and the fact that it's such a unique thing to have announced. I'm gonna pull up a list of some of the games they talked about, but I just think that was dope and definitely worth mentioning.
There's some real ones.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
I agree.
That's basically what it comes down to. They some real ones for that because I mean the way things are going, there's a lot of indie developers out there that's looking for publishing. Like I see it on LinkedIn all the time. It's people they've opened up volunteer studios looking for funding, looking for some type of publishing because people just want to do this shit.
yeah, and
And they don't have the money to do it. They just doing it for the love. I mean, people's out there working 10, 12-hour shifts and coming home and working on the fucking game. That's fucking tiring.
facts, 100%. Like, and it's often like passion projects just like that. Like people make solo games. You think of stuff like Stardew Valley. There were so many games made by one person at these events this weekend. So those are the people that we're kind of lifting up. How many Stardew Valleys can we get? So yeah, I have a short list of the games here. Mars First Logistics is an open world physics game where you like delivering stuff around Mars. I remember seeing this a couple summer games less ago. Um, One Button Bosses, which pretty much describes itself. Like it's a
One
bunch
Punch
of
Man.
bunch of boss challenges where you just kind of press one button and you defeat you got to defeat them that way. Battle Suit Aces, which is a pretty cool looking card battling RPG that actually got shown off a lot this weekend as like a newer game. And then you have a platform, I believe. Oh, this is the game where you're like in a mech and you kind of like wander around the world gathering shit, and then it's like a city builder type of, or like, that sort of vibe where you're cooking dishes with the stuff that you gather, but it's like a roguelite. It's called Project Dosa, which looked pretty interesting. Um, I think there's two more. Rogue Eclipse it's a roguelite space setting. It looks pretty dope. I remember seeing that one, I think. And then there's another game about building, like a city builder type of thing, but it looks like it's kind of nature built based called Mossfield Archives. So I want to make sure I got all of those highlights in there. If they have their like montage, then I'll put that in here just to make sure that these games get highlighted because I think this is an important initiative and something that should most definitely be celebrated. But next up, actually, just keeping on that indie train for a second, I want to talk about Never. I don't know if y'all remember this one, but it's
Yeah, that shit looked incredible.
it was probably the
I'm
most
here for
beautiful
it,
looking game I've seen at the showcase. Like
bro. That
it,
that felt like Okami all over again.
man, it's like this painterly, it's got that indie watercolor style. Like, you know what I mean when I say that, but it feels like one of the best examples of that.
Yeah.
And when you see a game like that, you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be wandering through. I might have a fox friend or some shit. You know what I mean? Talk to a tree here and there. Probably not a whole lot of combat. I'm gonna be moving boxes, solving puzzles. She was out here fucking shit up. This is a straight up Metroidvania where you like slashing through shit. Like it looks legitimately fun. This is why games like that don't always hit for me because I do latch on to stuff with a little bit more involvement, but Never looks dope, and I will put that high on the radar for sure. Um, Now I'm gonna let one of y'all throw something out there before I start talking about this Power Rangers game
Oh,
because
well,
yeah,
I'm
we
gonna
gotta
talk about that anyway. So
okay, we need
All
to
right,
we need
so
to
let me get this one out real quick because I'm so excited for Valorant
Mm,
finally coming to consoles.
yes,
I am. I don't know how I feel about the fact that it won't be crossplay. I mean, that's probably just like me being ridiculously competitive and wanting any and all smoke. But I also know that the PC players would fuck everybody up
that's
because
the
that is a
yeah
game that is all about precision aiming. Like you got to be on your shit. Like you know what? it's probably for the best. Like the
Yep.
sicko in me would want the crossplay, but it's probably for the best.
Yeah,
Like
that
let these
aim
stick warriors get it, get it in, and we'll go from there.
100%. Like I'm not one to scoff at aim assist at all. So I'm all the way about console play. I played a little bit of Overwatch 2 on PC before I jumped into console, and then I jumped into console and I stayed my ass on console.
No smoke.
Yeah. I played the crossplay, and I didn't even realize that they, I guess it was probably some subconscious realization that at first it didn't have the aim assist on console when you played crossplay because I had it on the
Uh,
whole time, but
the you can feel it. Like you can
you can.
absolutely feel the difference.
I probably just thought I was ass at Overwatch 2. Like I thought I was adjusting poorly. You know what I mean?
Right? You're just sitting there like, God damn, it's been three
Yeah.
weeks. Why do I still suck?
Bro, I'm finna main warrior. I could just hold this button down and not like aim in the general direction, bro. I'm not finna do this Anna life. But yeah, no, I feel like it's gonna be very interesting to see Valorant expand like that. It's one of those games I always want to try, so
Oh yeah, I'm ready for any and all smoke on that.
for sure. All right, now shut up about that shooter shit
Yeah, let's
because
get
they
into this
announced
Power
a
Rangers.
Power Rangers game. James, I'm gonna let you take over before I go off.
Oh, I mean, it's nothing to really talk about. I'm getting it. That's
It's just
just
a day one.
most people that know me know that I love like side scroll beat 'em up games. Like my favorite game was Streets of Rage. Going back to that.
Nice.
This just reminds me of the Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge,
Yep.
just on crack though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you watch it, like I was telling, I was playing with some people on PlayStation. I was watching this all at the same time. I was just like the transition to like those other levels where you like in the Zord and all that. It's like it took it to a whole different game. It like went from a side scroll beat 'em up to something I was like, man, like just couch, gameplay would just be amazing for this. Like this is just the type of games that I like.
And you know what's dope? I heard that it has both couch co-op and online co-op. So yeah, that's getting purchased for sure. Um, yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to put the footage up here because you gotta kind of see it. I mean, it's like it pretty much turns into road rash every now and then. You know what I mean? Where it's
Yeah.
like it's behind the back perspective, and it's so crazy to be in 2024 where if you make a game with that art style and then you do something different with it, I'm be like, whoa, you can do that? Like it's like we ain't got fucking The Last of Us Part 2 out here and shit. You know what I mean? But
You know why? Because all you can do is motion capture motherfuckers with that.
hey, look, man, it is what it is. I'm gonna always love that pixelated art style and watching people push it in different directions. Same thing I was talking about with that game Never. Like it's incredible looking. It's not, it's pixelated and it's a side scroller and it's fucking breathtaking. This game looks awesome. That is the right word. Like the word is awesome for this game. It looks like some badass shit. At one point, you are in the mech the Megazord and it's first person and you fucking punching this like
Yup.
that's just cool. Like I just want to play that. So shout out to pure video games that just look fun.
Speaking of pure video games that just look fun, Killer Bean is at the top of my list. That might be game of the year. I saw that motherfucker catch a grenade and do an East Bay 360 and throw that thing back.
That
I'm,
happened.
I'm in it. I'm in it.
Day one. I
Day one.
heard I heard that one of the people making that game, it might be like the main creator. I don't know. I need to look more into this, but I heard that he was like one of the like combat directors or something for the Matrix. Like he
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
we're in great hands.
that shit is gonna be
We're in
crazy.
great
Like
fucking hands.
Killer Bean is one of those games that I don't care if I get 5 minutes of just that shit that I saw in that trailer. Like
Yep.
it could be like this could be a tech demo where I just get to run around. There's nothing in this empty ass world. You know what I mean? I just want to do all that shit.
Just let me run around, do dumb shit. Just make sure the enemies respawn.
Please. Seriously.
That's
So
it.
honestly, I kind of think it was the game of the show. It's like literally the low Killer Beam. If for anybody just listening through audio who didn't watch the press conferences, I don't know if I can describe this game necessarily. Like
Nah, it's
you're gonna
impossible.
you're gonna have to either check out our episode on YouTube or like go look up Killer Bean, bro, because I mean, you're playing a Killer Bean who's doing Matrix shit and between the legs, tossing grenades back at niggas and jumping out of like it's crazy. It looks amazing. So highlight of the show. Um, Another game that just kind of looks fun mainly because I just played Armored Core 6, is Mecha Break. That game, it got like a teaser trailer at at actual Games Fest, but it actually got like a little bit more of a look at. I think it was at Xbox. Was where they showed it off a
No, that
little bit
was a
more.
different. I think that was a different game, wasn't it? Didn't we get two different Met games?
No,
Yeah,
it was Mecha. It was two
Was it?
different ones.
yeah,
I
two different
swore it was.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look at that because I swore it was both Mecha Break or whatever. But now I'm gonna have to look into that before I go in too deep because the one that they showed at Xbox was actually very dope looking.
We have to
Let me
figure that
see.
out.
Yeah, yeah. In the meantime, let's see what else we had here.
Oh,
Oh,
Wonder Stop,
Wonder Stalker.
nigga. The cozy joint. It was like a farming sim, but old
Oh
girl
yeah,
had some type of like fucking past, and she was all fucked up. Like, yo, that shit might get dark. I'm just here for how that story gonna play out.
yo, there's just no way it's a mic. Like that's going to go in some direction. And I think like, it's very clearly setting that up to where I hope it's a good direction. Like I hope it's something
Yeah.
worth that twist. But I'm here for it for sure.
Definitely, like I said, also game. I'm definitely gonna probably get Concord. Uh, I'm definitely gonna
Absolutely.
probably get that game.
I'm gonna have to at least try it out just because throw me a hero shooter and I'm here for it. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah. I just think it's the hero shooter, but it's the lore that gets me. It makes
okay.
you feel more into the characters with the lore, and the way that the game is explained to have like stuff like gameplay and movies that go with the games just for the release, like for like a whole bunch of weeks. So we'll see if they actually do that though. But
Yeah.
I think if they do that, it can set the characters up and set the game up, in a certain way.
Nah, that is a really dope idea. Like you said, it's pretty expensive idea, so who knows if it's gonna continue for too long. And I think it's gonna depend on how invested like the audience gets. You know what I mean? Like it looks very interesting. I like the vibe of it. Everybody was, calling it Overwatch, but with Guardians characters when it showed up on the showcase. But I don't see why that's a problem. Like I actually enjoy
I
that.
I like both of them.
Right.
I don't know if
Right.
anybody's played that Guardians of the Galaxy game, but that shit was fucking
Incredible.
Bro.
that shit was fucking Mass Effect with Guardians. That's what the fuck that was.
It legitimately was. It really was.
That was the game we all thought Avengers was going to be.
That is very true.
Yeah.
The one thing I will give
Yeah.
Avengers is that the story mode is very great.
The story mode was dope.
The
But
co-op shit
after that,
so fucking repetitive. Oh god, it's fucking terrible.
I don't know if I've ever told the story about how my cousin got like soft locked in that game and never went back to it. Because when you get your first upgrade, he went through the upgrade tree and like picked something cool. And then there's a wall or something that you're supposed to get the first upgrade and break the wall. And he chose a different upgrade so he could never break the wall. And he just never went back to the game. I don't know if I've seen anyone else
that's more than
experience that.
enough reason to not go back.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That was listen, I don't know if it was user error, whatever you want to call it, but I feel like
Or
that story
or he would
needed.
have to tell you to get on the game for you
Yeah.
to upgrade that character, and then when you guys play co-op, then you would have to break the wall in order for him to get.
Yeah. Yeah, it is
Here's the
multiplayer.
thing. Every game that we've played, probably the last 20 years, there's always an introductory upgrade that
Yep.
is tied to your progress in the story. And they never let you pick anything but that first upgrade. It's actually frustrating because I feel like KG and Uncut Gems. Why would you show me this shit if I can't have it?
That's facts.
But that's why.
Yeah.
So that's on them.
If double jump is glowing and it's got like an aura around the shit and whatnot, pick double
If
jump.
I can pick it, then
Yeah.
don't lock me out of shit just because I picked something that I wanted.
That's facts. That's facts. I'm not gonna blame my cousin, even though I'd like to, just to call him a dumbass. You know what I mean? But I have confirmed it was indeed Mecha Break at both showcases. We got a very short trailer, at SGF, and then they showed the actual gameplay at Xbox.
Shit felt like two different games.
Yeah, it was very, very Armored Core 6 coded. If you look at the hanger, but also very, very quick. And I feel like that's just mech games. Like I'm not gonna fault it for that, especially when it has like Robotech ass jet transformations, which is always gonna give me. So, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Definitely got to talk about that Sonic and Shadow game.
Oh yes, absolutely. Like,
I'm buying that shit. I think I texted you and I was just like, yo, this shit feels like Sonic Adventure 2. And it just like it's
man,
like they brought Shadow back and they brought him like he first came out. Like and
yeah,
we never knew who the fuck he was.
agreed, bro. Like it's this year feels like Sonic Adventure 2. Like they're going in with the year of Shadow shit. But nah, that game is like you already know Generations was a fire ass game.
Yeah, it was.
So we're all just gonna be running through that bitch as Shadow doing the same shit. And then they got pretty much like the whole Shadow section feels like it's on some Bowser's Fury type of vibes, like where it's like its own thing. Can't wait to try that shit.
He better bring out guns and he better
Yo,
kind of
the
read
the
Gotta
better
have a
read
gun.
books.
the creator just said Shadow doesn't need a gun, he is a weapon and shit. And I'm like,
I ain't
that
trying to
was
hear
a
that shit.
it was a cold quote though. I'm not gonna lie,
It,
that's pretty
I,
it is cold, but the
I ain't trying to hear
movie
that shit.
you guys just say he was voiced by Keanu Reeves. So now when I see Shadow, it's all I see is guns.
He has to have a gun.
He just made it just make it more
A
simple.
gun, or if you really want to like fuck with people, give him a pencil.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I agree.
Just give him a pencil. Just give him a pencil.
Listen,
Or
the
like if
fact
he goes to
a
take the
dog.
gun out and he pulls a pencil and goes, "What the fuck?" and then
I
throws it
would
away.
that's
Something like
that's the
that.
one. I was gonna
Something
say the
like that.
fact I shook my head because I'm so angry that now I can't be satisfied with Sonic 3 unless we get some type of John Wick parody. Like
Yeah.
There has to be some type of
Either that
reference.
or like, Shadow is an ultimate badass. But let's say in the movie, like a dog walks past and you see him change to like a whole like different side of him that you never saw. Instead
That'll
of
probably come at
crying
the end.
about Maria, he's crying about this dog.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
There's
Make
got to. The
Maria
point is, there's got to be a John Wick reference in there somewhere.
100%. The only way you can get away with not doing it is if he Matrix dodges something, because he's gonna Matrix dodge something. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
I can let
that's
it go.
yeah, yeah. Um, but going back to the list, man, we got the first Descendant actually got some gameplay. I don't know if y'all remember First Descendant, but we had seen it a little while ago. It's a looter shooter, so on some Destiny type of vibes, but
Free
it
to
has a
play looter shooter.
yeah, yeah. So we'll see. Free to play always kind of like raises some alarms for me, but it looks dope enough. Like, first of all, the little cinematic cutscenes they keep playing for this thing are fucking incredible. Like everything that they show for First Descendant looks awesome. And then the fact that like the gameplay actually looks pretty dope. Now, can I fluidly do all the shit I'm seeing in like am I gonna feel as empowered as they're making it look at all these cinematics? Probably not. But it looks pretty fun either way. Like I enjoyed Destiny for the time I played it, so I'm interested in that one.
See, you got out of Destiny early. That's why you enjoyed it.
Yep. I've heard
And
this.
look, I love you. You have to understand. I put hours into Destiny. Now I'm talking 300-400 hours probably. So I'm coming from a place of I got off the narcotic and I'm sober now. All right.
Absolutely.
There's a point where it's no longer fun. It's a job. And I want to go back and finish and just play the final shape to say I finished the story, but I got enough jobs as it is, man. I can't do it to
Man.
myself.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they've like righted the ship, a while back, and like, people
Oh yeah,
have,
they've done an
yeah,
excellent job with it. It's just
yeah.
once that shit gets its hooks back in you, it's over.
I can't. This is exactly what stops me from like playing MMOs. I can't let this take over my life because I'll let Retro World take over my life. I can't fuck with no MMO, bro. Like, Retro World will sap away hours of my existence. So shout out to those games though. They do a good job of doing that shit.
But dog, when they put Retro Bro on the Switch, I thought it was over for the rest of my life.
Man,
You gave me shit with control sticks.
It's a problem. All right, so I feel I'm gonna kind of breeze through because honestly, looking at this list, the showcase did have a solid little amount of stuff I'm looking forward to playing. Like, I don't know if anybody here have y'all played Alan Wake 2?
That's on my list to play. But it's
Same.
at the bottom of the list because there's too much shit on it.
Yeah, and I kind of want to get hip to the first one. Like I gotta at least watch some type of recap because I didn't play Alan Wake back in the day, but I loved Control. And they announced the Night Springs DLC. First of all, great trailer, like crazy vibe to this.
Yeah.
Um, even for like that's what makes me really want to try Alan Wake too, because I the vibe is just immaculate. But this trailer actually has the main character from Control, whose name escapes me right now because it's been years. But the fact that all you got to do is tie a universe together for me, like that's gonna give me every time. So definitely gonna give me the jump in there. Um, we can kind of breeze over this one, but Skate is coming back. They didn't show much, but
They ain't gonna have nothing for that until probably mid to late next year.
yeah, the footage they had was pre-alpha, so it's gonna be a little while before we actually see that full blown.
Like I
But
think there's a pre-test or something, a play test in the fall, but yeah,
yeah,
we're not gonna see anything substantial for another year.
right. Still working out the kinks of that. Like that's a reboot that I feel like they're taking very seriously. So
They have to. They have
yeah,
to.
skate is important.
Mm,
And we kind of in a void now. You know, you see what happens to the people that made Tony Hawk remakes. But I do want to talk about Slitterhead, which
Which
looks
sounds
crazy.
like a slur, but isn't.
Yep, I don't mean that I want to talk about some type of derogatory person or nothing.
That
I'm talking about this is the game from the creator of I want to say Silent Hill.
Yep.
He's kind of went off and make it his own thing, and it's a hard game, but it has like Souls like combat almost, like or action type of combat. And you can also like jump into the heads of various different people that you see around you. So a little bit of
Platforming they were showing with that was nuts.
yeah, yeah, very crazy. Like you doing parkour down there. Weird game. I don't know if we can say much about it because it's fucking completely
Because I
odd.
don't know what the fuck I looked
Yeah,
at.
we so
I have no opinion because I'm still not sure what I'm supposed to be thinking about.
but that's why I have such interest. Like it looks very interesting to me. So definitely want to shout that out. They showed 4 seconds of Black Myth Wukong, you know.
I don't need to see
I've
no
been,
more of that.
I've been following this game for like
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
years.
buying the game, man. Like,
Yep.
just
Yeah,
Soon
give me
as,
the
soon
yeah.
game.
as
Show me nothing else.
when that popped up, I was like, oh, okay, it's just a reminder. It's just
Yeah.
like, hey,
Right,
remember?
right. Hey, remember to pre-order this.
Yeah.
That's all they was telling me. Remember to pre-order.
I can honestly fuck with it because I need to remember buy that game because it looks incredible. They had a little showcase of Metaphor ReFantasio, which if it's not on y'all radar, if you like Persona, it definitely should be. It's pretty much like a Persona game.
That shit is Persona.
It man,
I
it
saw it. I was
is.
just like,
Yeah.
I'm
I
playing
mean,
Persona 5.
call it what it is.
Yeah,
Like,
listen,
this
it is a Persona game, but it's in a different entire setting. It's got a kind of a like a fantasy vibe. The way that the job system works sounds very interesting. So I love when you can go outside. I feel like what happened with Persona is that Persona is such a thing now that when you make a Persona game, it's got to be a Persona game. You know what I mean? Like it got to have its own bounce to it. It's got to have like a lot of style. They just went off and like made Persona but fantasy RPG. So got to try that shit. It looks pretty incredible. And now the graphics look awesome to me. Like I think it looks fucking beautiful. So cannot wait for that one. Yeah, I'm just rattling off games. So if y'all had any more highlights, the only last two I wanted to mention were Hyper Light Breaker is getting early access in August, which I can't wait for that game. Hyper Light Drifter was like one of my favorite indies from the PS2 era. And then we got another look at Phantom Blade Zero, which continues to just look like one of those games that doesn't actually exist. Like, will I ever play this? Hopefully. I can't remember if they put up a release date, but it looks like I don't understand how I'm doing all those things. You know what I mean? Like I'm not that nice. You want me to? Does this game have Tekken controls? Because the combos are crazy. But it looks dope, so I'm very much looking forward to getting my hands on
this is my type of game. So yeah,
it. 100%.
I'm definitely good.
Well,
I'm good.
it's prime for me to buy and be bad at. Like it is right there for me, and I'm going to because it looks amazing. So, but that's all I have from the actual Summer Games Fest showcase itself. If y'all don't have anything else to throw out there, I'm just gonna kind of jump right into Xbox because we got us a conversation
Nah,
on
let's
our
get to
hands.
this Xbox shit.
You know what? Before we do that though, give Summer Game Fest a number ranking.
7.5.
Okay.
I do 6.5.
And I feel like I'm right between y'all two with like a 7 or so. Like this is pretty okay. It was all right. It was okay. And then looking at that list, it was better than okay, but the actual experience, I give it about a 7 at least. Okay, so we'll come back to that conversation, and we're going to jump straight into Xbox. I feel like actually this is a somewhat shorter list. It was just all bangers because this one wasn't 2 fucking hours long, and it didn't have actual commercials in between it.
Yeah.
It was just kind of rolling through. Not no shade, Jeff. I know you gotta make your money, brother. But yeah, we got Call of Duty. Quick look at that. Do we need to discuss Call of Duty, fellas? It's Call of
We
Duty.
don't need to, but I will say that I haven't been excited to play a Call of Duty in a long time. One, they brought back Black Ops, so that's always been my favorite of the Call of Duties. But just
Yeah.
the range of motion in this game really is gonna make the game feel a little bit fresh and different. So I am excited about
Yeah.
that. And just think about that range of motion and you playing zombies. Like
Yeah.
really gonna give people like a reason to play the game. So I might pick this one up.
Yeah. I mean, I went out my way to not live tweet about it. That was literally the last tweet. Like, y'all know what Call of Duty is. Like, we don't
Yeah.
have to. Like, but nah, because Black Ops is also one of my favorites. So I did
Right.
watch the Call of Duty Direct or whatever they called it at the end of it, and I mean, it's what I expected. I expect Black Ops to be the best of the split that they got going on.
Yeah.
It looked good, but I don't need to, I don't need to talk about it at length.
There's nothing really to say aside from what James pretty much said, which
Yeah,
you you are right about that though. Like the dive in like controlling your direction, all the dynamic aspects that they've added, like feel like it's probably hard to see for people that don't play Call of Duty how much of an impact it's gonna have, but it is gonna have an impact. So
I will say this about it because I just thought about this talking about the movement was that there was a quote in the direct where they were basically like the movement came about basically us just going, why can't we do that? And nobody really thought about it. Like you think about all the cool shit, like in your head, you think you should be able to do in a first person shooter, and we've never been able to fucking do it.
yeah.
So here we go.
You know what? Man, y'all have completely 180 my whole thoughts on Call of Duty. And I should not have dismissed it so quickly because that makes it kind of sound like if they were to go as far with this as it sounds like they could, it could be a big step, like as far as like shooters go.
Look, man, I saw a dude running on top of a train. He jumped, turned, went prone, and fell through the hole at the top of the train, and then shot at dude who was coming up to the hole.
That's
So,
awesome. Okay.
I mean, look, just watch the video because like it was cool, and we're talking about this way more than I thought we would.
You know, my thing with Call of Duty is that this reminds me of when they were on that ship on I can't remember which Call of Duty showcase it was, but like the cover started moving around and shit. Yeah, exactly. But like the
fuck
ship
that
started,
level though.
Yeah, and I was
It's
like,
a
oh,
long
man.
time multiplayer player. Fuck that level.
I feel you on that. Very much like I feel you on that. But I had a similar. Oh, that could be fucking dope. But I gotta see it in action how much we really enjoy it because you see how we feel about that level now. But I think that this is bigger than that, and this is more interesting than that. So we're gonna see. That was much more conversation than I expected us to get out of that. So good shit. A shooter that I actually do feel like we can kind of touch on a little bit just because it looks fucking cool is Doom Dark Ages.
I'm here for it.
Why are they making a Doom in the Middle Ages? I don't know. Fuck you for asking. Play the game.
It's
awesome.
Nah, it's not that. It's the so. Did you play the reboot and Eternal?
Nope, I did not. Well, I've played them, but I got more into the first one. Played a nice little chunk of that, but I didn't get as much into Eternal.
Okay, so the whole thing with the reboot and Eternal is basically the Doom Slayer is already this mythical like god tier demon killer, and they fear him, but they still be obviously coming at him. This
Right.
is the prequel. This is like how you got to that point where he became the baddest motherfucker on the planet, and it's clearly because he was shooting skull chips at niggas. He had a gun where he put a skull in the gun,
Yeah.
and it just chipped him up and shot the dog.
I feel
You know
that is
how
a
excited
good point.
you can tell I get excited about shit because I start talking like Will Smith.
Bro,
That's
listen.
how fucking incredible that game looked.
That's your true colors coming out where you get excited. Like, nah, honest to God, I feel you. And actually, for the same reasons, that gun looked awesome. The chainsaw fucking shield that you Captain American
Bruh.
and people it looks incredible.
I'm ready.
And yes, I feel you on the story thing. Does that need to be the case? No, but it's awesome. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, look, the only thing, but see, the problem with doing shit like that is now I'm mad. Why couldn't we have that in other games?
right, like
It's the
there's so
prequel.
much.
Maybe there's a storyline explanation for why we can't get the skull chip shooting the gun in the other games, but you've
Why am I
introduced
not?
this now. I need to see updates.
I
I
don't
need
know
to see
that you
patches.
fly around on a dragon thing like at the end of the
Dog,
trailer. But yeah, where'd that
I,
go?
I need patches to the other two games like ASAP.
That'll be awesome. That'll be incredible. That's some Borderlands shit right there. And I don't know if
Yep.
everybody's on it. But nah, the one of the first really big trailers for me, the next one that I want to kind of jump into, Dragon Age, the Veilguard, which first off, please take the out of the name. I just want to take a minute to say this. Dragon Age Veilguard, dope name. Dragon Age The Veilguard is a little awkward, but game looks fucking fire to me. I don't know. I feel like it might not be the general consensus. How we feeling? How we feeling?
I ain't feeling it.
Okay, interesting.
I was watching that shit, and because like I have no issue with it looking different than what I expected from a Dragon Age game. That's
Which
not
it
my
definitely
problem.
did.
It for sure did, but it just didn't do it. Like everything about it just it felt like a totally different game. It didn't feel like something that they had been working on for a while. It felt like this change came because they changed something up.
Okay.
And there wasn't anything about it that like excited me or made me go, yeah, I need to play this, or yeah, I even kind of want to play this if it goes on sale. Like I was watching that trailer like Jalen Rose. Nah, man, not gonna be able to do it.
So, you know what? I get where you're coming from. Thinking about what the trailer was. I do get where you're coming from with that. Because it was very tonally different than the Dragon Age in the past. Um, I don't think that it's going to lean as hard into the vibe that the trailer did in the main game. I don't. If it did, then it would not hit for me as much as straight up Dragon Age Dreadwolf, like about the Dreadwolf with this high fantasy vibe that we
Yeah.
always expecting with it. But I just feel like this is the vibe. That trailer was to convey what they want you to focus on. They want you to focus on the vibe of the squad, and maybe that's kind of like a sort of a ragtag sort of deal, or whatever the case may be.
It might land like the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Like that shit was incredible and nobody thought it was going to be. I guess like
That's not what we were looking
I
for.
would
though.
need to see another trailer down the road before
And
I can
that's
make a
what-
final judgment, because this was kind of like getting a cup that's covered and going, yeah, this is lemonade, and you drinking it as water.
That was the other.
It fuck you up.
That is facts. I had that happen to me with cold coffee, thinking it was tea when I was young, and I ain't drink coffee for a while. But
See,
not gonna lie, but nah, but we are getting the actual Dragon Age like showcase on the 11th. They actually did announce that, so I'm interested to see more of it. You make some good points. I'm just hyped to see Dragon Age back, and I feel like Inquisition was a different vibe, in a sort of similar way, like not entirely the same, but it had definitely a different vibe than what I picked up from Dragon Age Origins. And 2 for sure had a different vibe. So that being said, hopefully we don't gotta Andromeda had this problem. You know what I mean? What you're alluding to.
see, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, that was exactly like Andromeda winning. And I like a lot of things. I like a lot of shit about what Andromeda did. That joint had the best combat in the series.
I wouldn't know. I made it 20 minutes in and cut that bitch.
That's crazy.
When for me, Mass Effect is all about the characters and relationships and all that.
That's the problem.
Them characters were recycled as bullshit.
They were not a
They
good
had
cast.
no
That's all
flavor
bad.
to what the fuck they was. I saw that shit and I said, yeah, I'm turning this bitch the fuck off.
So
And
y'all didn't get very far in the game. There's a really good game in there.
I'm not kidding. 20 minutes. 20 minutes.
There's a good game in there. I feel like y'all didn't get what y'all was looking for from Mass Effect. But there is actually a solid experience. My main problems was, one, I didn't fall in love with this cast of characters like I did with the whole cast at all. I don't think that they were all trash, but I can't remember most of them. Like, that's my problem. That means that they're mid. You know what I mean? That means that that's not the highlight of the game. And I feel like the way that they built out the worlds around you was pretty dope. Like, you could actually go through and like have interaction moments in the towns and like learn shit about them, and it was pretty cool. The combat was dope. Vehicles were more fun than the fucking Mako. It was just hella repetitive, and
I would agree with you if there wasn't people out here saying that they would have sex with Garrus. So in Mass Effect, characters mean everything. Okay.
So
I cried when people, well, my last playthrough, but my first ones, half my team died because my dumbass didn't build my ship up. And I was like, shut the fuck up. Stop telling me what to do. This is my ship, bitch.
Listen, man, you gotta go to that little table. Damn. I mean,
look, you're doing your best, Johnny Cochran, for this shit, but I'm letting you know right now, we're not the fucking. We're not Marshall Clark and Chris Dark. We're not fucking this one up.
The problem here is y'all didn't actually play the game. So you coming from trash.
We did play the game. That's a fuck game.
You played 20 minutes. So this is the popular take, and I get that it wasn't as bad, and I don't think this will be as bad as or as divisive as it looks. I especially think that they've learned a lot.
The only motherfucker I'd ever seen say something positive about that game.
Call Hernandez.
I'll be there.
We'll give you the honest opinion because he played all of them and he loved those games.
I'm not even I'm not a fan of Dragon Age Andromeda, but I'm not a fan of hard cut this is this or that either. So I'm gonna give it its props for what it did right. You know what I mean?
All right, Dwight, you can sit on the fence. You got to lay down with your mouth open.
I didn't say I was on the
fence. That's just ass. 2-pack of ass.
Yeah, that's what's up. We'll live with that. We'll live with that being ass. But hopefully Velgar does not have this impression. But next game we talk about, I think we can all agree, looks pretty fire. That's South of Midnight.
Yes.
We actually got a extended gameplay look at this game. It has that weird stop motion Spider-Man art style, which always looks fire.
Dog, Spider-Verse got a lot of influence. There's a couple games that had that art style.
Yeah, it's pushing that stop motion vibe forward, and I can dig like this game looks totally different than what I was expecting. As far
it sounds like they got some black folks in the writing room too.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Everybody peeped that use of trifling. I've never heard that in the game before.
Said it right, trifling ass. I was like, okay, ain't no white person write that.
I'm here for it. This is like the anti Forspoken. I'm also not a guy who likes to dunk on Forspoken, so let's not get into that shit either. I just took a little shot. I'm not gonna lie, but South of Midnight looks like it's coming along very well. Combat looks dope. Exploration looks pretty cool, and the game is gorgeous. So definitely shout out to that one. That's high on my list. Let's see.
So shout out to Microsoft for having a bunch of games with black women in the lead.
Man, facts. Something that should definitely be noticed and celebrated because I already know what the environment is out here.
Man.
We also got so this is an interesting one. I like when there's a new unknown IP. Expedition 33. I actually think it has more to that title, but I'm gonna call it Expedition 33 because I can't
fucking wait.
Yeah, that game. This game reminds me of it is Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is the full name of that game. It reminds me of the Xbox 360 RPGs that they used to put out, like the Lost Odysseys and shit like that, where it's like weirdly mature and a different vibe to it, but still got that, like it's still turn-based and everything. And I've never seen turn-based combat look this dynamic and fucking fluid and shit. Like it looks incredible.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't need to see any gameplay to know I was going to get it. I was just here for the story because I think the idea that they came up with this painter chick that writes a new number down every year, and whoever's that age dies, and they got to kill her. That's fucking dope.
Bro, who thought of
Like
it?
I'd read a book if that's based on a book. Somebody need to let me know.
Yeah, facts. Like, because this is, I mean, I've never heard anything quite like that. So that's always going to give me the art style lends itself to the uniqueness of the story. Like this game has hella character and like it builds out that world. Like, so does this mean like the 34 year? So if all the 34-year-olds died and she been doing this one by one every year goes down. 33-year-olds are the oldest motherfuckers. These are the old wise men.
Yeah.
Like I turned 34 like 2 weeks ago. This means I'll
Oh,
be
you're dead. I'm
the
still alive for another month and 3 days.
fuck you guys, man. Fuck you guys for being born late. I appreciate it. I'm very much looking forward to that one though. That's one of those random ones that just kind of popped up out of nowhere. And that's my favorite thing. Well, I won't say my favorite thing. My favorite thing is surprise sequels and shit. But I love when random games come out of nowhere and just look that dope. So shout out to that one. Um, we also got Perfect Dark, man. Perfect Dark actually showed a nice little lengthy gameplay clip. How y'all feeling about that one?
If I don't see a laptop gun at some point in the future, I'm going to be very upset. But it looks fucking incredible. I just need to see the laptop gun.
Fair.
I
That is
mean,
fair.
I played the original Perfect Dark a long time ago, so having it finally have something else continue the series, it's definitely a good look.
Yeah, we couldn't leave on zero.
Yeah. Which is funny enough, that was like also Xbox initiative. But
Yeah, zero wasn't terrible. It just wasn't great. It was just there.
that's kind of what it
Yeah,
felt like. I didn't play it, but that's what it felt like.
yeah.
Whereas like, like you said, James, the OG Perfect Dark was a moment. Like that was a special. I always I compare it to Perfect Dark was to 007, what Banjo Kazooie was to Super Mario 64. Like
Superior game.
many would argue, many would say these things. And
I'm
I'm
one of them.
not.
I'm niggas.
All right, so you want to talk about fence sitting? I'm gonna sit my ass on the fence on this one. All right, I'm not taking the stance on this one, but nah, Perfect Dark. This reboot actually looks really, really fire. It gave me Deus Ex vibes, like Mankind Divided, and what the fuck was the other one called? God, I
Oh,
don't remember.
human
Human
something.
Revolution. Human
Yeah,
Revolution. There it is. Yeah, no, this is why you need to make more of them. Where that series go? But even though that was
they
like a
canceled the
really
last shit.
yeah, and then there was like a weird character in that Deus Ex game, like very stereotypical black woman. I don't know what the deal was with that one, but I remember seeing that shit somewhere, and it kind of threw me off. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't play the second one. Um, but
No, she
anyway,
faked the nigga voice, man. She pointed her shit, fake my man
yeah,
voice to get in the door.
this shit
Yeah, fuck
looks
this. Give me all that
that
spy shit.
that type of stuff will get me every time. Like the shooting the canister and having the smoke come by so you can come out of cover and just pop somebody through the smoke. Just and then randomly turn into fucking Mirror's Edge for a hot second. Like I guess we're gonna do some parkour, which is I'm always here for. I think more games need to have a little bit of that. So
Talking about a game that need to come back.
yeah, for real. But the next one I actually have up here is Metal Gear Solid, which shocked me at first when I saw it at Xbox just popping up out of nowhere. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which is the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3.
I didn't expect
But
to see it.
I didn't think we'd see it. I mean, we needed to see it if it's coming out this year because it's like, we halfway through the year. But also, I didn't expect it to be at Xbox because like PlayStation had it in a little hype rail from the beginning of the year. Which I guess just shows you like this is a multi-platform game, like, you know what I mean? Like who cares? But what actually made it make more sense to me was the whole thing I just said about Kojima and Jeff. Like it wasn't showing up at Summer Games Fest, I guess. So they put it here.
Said
Yeah,
fuck
I'm
you.
hyped for the game. I don't want it to come out this year because I don't want Hernandez to have his game come out.
Yeah.
So for his fantasy.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
The fact that it looks amazing too.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but that I mean, again, I played every Metal Gear Solid, and like, I mean, two is always my favorite just because I'm a huge Raiden fan. And they need to remake Metal Gear Solid Revengeance, but I'll go back to that later. But yeah, this if I remember, I think I saw a YouTube video where they were comparison like how the games look compared, and like yeah, big well, yeah, Snake just looks better. Like how he looks, it just game looks clean. The combat looks 30 times better. Like yeah, like
It looks so fucking smooth.
yeah, I'm getting
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. This is an absolute must buy.
yeah, I'm getting it.
Full top down remake of one of my favorite because like I don't even know what I'd say my favorite is. I used to be a Metal Gear Solid 3, like I swear by that. But honestly, Metal Gear Solid, the original, like, is such a special experience. And then four I feel like four is mad underrated. So
four is a movie. Like that's
Yeah.
bro, like
For real.
it's such a movie. It's crazy. Four is so much. I forget all the shit that happened. I just watched somebody play through four and I'm like, yo, this fucking game is incredible. um and then it's stuck on PS3, so I hope it gets the remake soon. But I feel like they're going in like order, like chronological order and shit. So might be a little while, but I'm here for it. Whenever you're ready, guys. All right, this episode's getting long as fuck. So we're gonna jump to Fable. I want to make sure we talk about that for a hot second. Because I know we got a big one coming up, and man, Tony got to talk about. But Fable looks just as good as it looked before. That's another one that's going to probably be divisive among people because of how different it is from what Fable used to be. But I also feel like it feels like a natural progression of what Fable was. You know what I mean? Whereas I definitely feel where you're coming from on Dragon Age. Like, now I'm thinking about it. I think I just came down from the high of seeing Dragon Age. Like, damn, that joint did look kind of different then. but I'm still
Nigga,
here
if
for it.
if they had flipped and turned it into a fucking mobile game ad, I wouldn't have been surprised. That's how it looked.
I'm not gonna argue against that one, but Fable though, I love the direction they're taking. Like they're kind of leaning into the Fable of it all, but they also show that you got dialogue. You can make people love and hate you, or romance you, just like the old games. So it's hitting on all those same beats that I fucked with, but just in a modern way, and it looks pretty funny. Like Fable's always pretty humorous, so that's
I
one
think
I'm
they had to
definitely
go this direction though, because like Fable has such an impact on gaming that I don't think people realize. Because I mean, yeah, there's the whole like No Man's Sky of it all, where they promised a bunch of shit and they didn't necessarily follow through on all of it, but they followed through on a pretty decent amount of it when you actually look back. And so many games have picked up on that. If they came back, they couldn't come back and try to do the same shit. Like it's been too long, so they had to switch it up. Dragon
yeah.
Age, we were just expecting the continuation of the series. We didn't know we was getting another Fable until recently. Nobody really expected that shit. So yeah, you can come back and do something different.
Like motherfucking Star Fable might be cooked, and
Yeah.
I feel you. So yeah, I'm in agreement on that, and I can't wait to play this one because it looks pretty dope. All right, so I'm trying to dance around Gears. We're gonna talk about Gears in a hot second. That's our grand finale, but I just want to rattle through some of these other cool ones that I might have missed. So there was Flintlock, which is I didn't know this game was like a Souls like, but it is, which means I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But it looks pretty dope and it's like brighter and like more fluid and whatnot than most that I see.
Indiana Jones looks better than the last two movies.
Yes, it does.
That looks
High
like
bar.
that looks like the old school Indiana Jones movies, and I can't fucking wait.
Facts. Like they really captured that vibe. And then it's such a unique, like first person Uncharted ass experience. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a weird choice. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a weird choice for a game franchise. I don't know what. I guess it's just Xbox's second shot at an Uncharted because they already tried to like scoop Tomb Raider up and shit.
I mean, we really consider it. Hey, you guys want to play as a professor?
You got a whip, though.
Yeah,
everybody else
he's got
guns.
a whip and he occasionally shoots a gun and he got hands.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually kind of here for the puzzles. Like I want to go through the
Yeah, that's
tomb
got to be
and shit.
dope.
Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting. Let
Microsoft
me see.
Flight Simulator too. That's only funny because there's commercial flights, and I would play that just to post Denzel and flight memes all day.
Like,
That's all. I'm drunk right now.
oh my
Like,
God.
that's all I'd be doing all day. I'd just be crashing the shit out of planes and posting it on the internet.
Bro, they can't let you do this. Like they have to stop. There has to be things in this game to prevent this from happening.
Look, man,
But
it's
then
on
how do you
PC. You
fail?
know the mods are coming.
Oh, they're
Ima-
coming, bro.
Imagine somebody flying a commercial flight and then they did like an intercom mod where they just play that clip over and over again. I'm drunk right now.
Bro, why did I just see this clip today? Like, this is hitting way harder than the shit. Nah, Flight Simulator is dope. I think that shit is cool as
That's a
hell. Like,
fire ass franchise though. I
yeah,
like that's their Gran Turismo.
that's a very accurate comparison because it's just gorgeous and it's a super simulation. So if you're not into
Super
that,
detailed. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
man.
100%, I can fuck with it. Um, I'm I want to throw out Fragpunk. I don't know much about it
Yes.
yet, but that's a hero shooter where like you can use cards to alter the world and the game around you. So like I saw them do like a reverse gravity card. One dude pulled out a card that gave him cover by making a bunch of grass around him and like shrubbery, and just feels like a real obvious place to be hiding. Like, oh, maybe we go check in the patch of grass and just pop the fuck up out of nowhere. But other than that,
Right.
the joint looks pretty dope. Like,
Nah, this has been like the year of the week of the hero shooter.
yeah, I'm with it. Like I just want to hero shooters and Smash clones, clone them,
Yep.
make clones, bite
Just be
these
good.
niggas.
Just be
Yeah,
good. That's I'll
exactly.
play it.
Them two types of games, I'm here for it. I don't care. They also not, so I'm not a guy who like at first latched on to Diablo because I don't know why. I just never really like delved into it aside from when I played with
That,
James.
that trailer got
Uh,
you though, didn't it?
Bro, that trailer was
That
incredible.
trailer got
Like,
you. That
that
shit
trailer
was
was
fire,
incredible.
wasn't it?
Like it was actually like fuck the game. That shit looked like it was a movie I want to go see. Where like what is going on? But I'm not surprised they have that level of like quality. But that I just want to point out how fucking dope that was. That was an
Yeah.
amazing trailer. um, Mixtape. What a fucking cool looking game.
Some 80s
Um,
coming to age looking shit.
yes, like I'm not entirely sure what the game is. Like it's one of the it could be a walking simulator, one of those type of games. It seems like it's heavily focused on like the 80s soundtrack with actual licensed music. But that's the other stop motion game that was up here and it
Yep.
looks fucking very, very cool. I can't wait for that one.
Fuck it, man. Just let people make whatever the fuck they want to make.
Literally.
Like, this is what happens. Just let people make what they want to make.
All the weird shit, bro. Like we starting the cool shit is starting to get very samey. I've skipped a lot of, with respect to all cultures and whatnot, I skipped a lot of like feudal Japanese swordsman fantasy games because I'm like, I don't remember which one was which, bro. I'm not gonna hold you. Like they're kind of starting to blend together if you're not, the big ones like the ghosts and whatnot. Because it's like a theme right now. So we need those weird games to break up the monotony a little bit so that I can go back and appreciate where winds meet and the other games that was announced recently, like Wu Chang. Avowed got showed off also. I did want to mention that. Got to see a little bit more of that.
Yeah, that one made
Which
me a little sleepy.
I wanna be hyped for Avowed, but I think I need to play it. Like it looks kind of like a smaller Elder Scrolls right now. Because it's pretty much their Elder Scrolls, whereas Outer Wilds is their Fallout or whatever. But um, I'm down to try it out. All right, so the last one I want to just thought. Well, shout out to Stalker 2 for being here. I'm not like a Stalker guy, but I know they went through a lot to get here. Being
Man,
based in the Ukraine and having a development halted because of the war. They actually finally have a release date of September 8th, I believe, and that's pretty dope. I'm shout out to them for jumping out there. Um, but the last one I wanted to ask y'all about personally is how did y'all feel about the Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay they showed? Like I don't know how into that series we still are. I'm kind of like on and off, but did that make y'all want to jump into this one?
That was one where, like, when they dropped the trailer a few weeks ago, I decided I was already gonna play it. So I didn't even really pay attention to the gameplay because I'm black character. I don't, you put a black character in the game and the gameplay is gonna be halfway decent. I'm probably gonna play it.
I feel it. You can
Um,
count on. You can
I
count on it.
I think most people know that I fucking hate Assassin's Creed. Um, because they made me hate Assassin's Creed. Like after Brotherhood, I felt like the games were just the same shit over and over again. This one does look different. But also I'm gonna agree with Tony. I'm gonna buy this game and play this game just for all the motherfuckers that cry about Yusuke being in this game,
Yep.
and I'm gonna play it, and I'm only gonna use him as much as I possibly can on fucking purpose, and I'm
Facts.
gonna stream it to make me.
Facts.
That's the reason why I'm gonna play this because
This is gonna
one,
start off your streaming.
he's actually a fictional fucking character in real life. I don't know why we're going this. And people like, well, he wasn't really a samurai, and fucking Michelangelo wasn't making weapons in the fucking middle, but he still let them do whatever.
Thank
So
you.
what the fuck are we
But
crying about? But anyways,
he was. That's the thing, though. He
Right.
was
I
a
did.
samurai.
He was like
yes,
a
so
He was a
I should,
retainer.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
should
But
say
yeah,
Exactly.
but people keep trying to be really technical about it, like,
yeah.
nah,
So I'm just like, I'm gonna play this game just
it's a contract job.
yeah.
Listen, I already said when all this went down on Twitter. Usually I have, many thoughts. My only thought about this was exactly what I tweeted in this. If you're mad about this, you're a little bitch. And that's pretty much just what
That's
it
pretty much where
is.
we at with it.
Yeah, that's just what it is. Like you have no legitimate reason. Like I just said, we are oversaturated on these types of games. So it's not about representation. You're full of shit. There's also a Japanese protagonist of this game that it looks like you're gonna be playing most of the game. Um, and to pivot off of this, like, negative conversation, I do want to mention how interesting it is to have these two characters because the way I'm looking at it, I don't know, we're going to see a lot more during that Ubisoft presentation, but it looks like, so, Assassin's Creed like had a branching point. So once Origins happened in Egypt, it kind of went a little bit slower. Combat was like a little bit more focused. That is when they kind of first switched it up and made it an RPG, action
Yeah.
RPG. And it was very different. And that was the first one I got into since like Black Flag. Like I fell off. Uh, not that
Black
all of
Flag
it
was
was
the
bad.
shit.
Black Flag was incredible. I was sailing around on that ship all day long. I might re-download it just to fuck around and be a pirate. Um, but yeah, nah, they actually switched it up to make it like more RPG-ish. I know people that don't like the new style. Like they prefer the old Assassin's Creed that we all got sick of. But then they put out Mirage recently, which I haven't played it yet, but I've heard that it kind of goes back to the old style, but brings it to a modern place. What I feel like is that the main character of this one, with her invisible, with her stealth shields or stealth blades and whatnot, she's gonna have a lot of that traditional Assassin's Creed style, like where that gameplay style. Whereas Yasuke is gonna be more of a bruiser, like more of that combat that they introduced to the newer game. So they're gonna kind of blend the two styles, and I think it's gonna make it feel like a pretty unique game. Like I think it's gonna feel like a blending of what Assassin's Creed has learned for over the last few years. So that, and I'm buying it to piss off all the racists. So I feel you on that. Shout out to Assassin's Creed. But I guess it's now time. We can go ahead and jump into the final game of the showcase. Is it Gears of War E-Day or Gears E-Day?
Gears of War, E-Day.
They went back to Gears of War. I love it. Okay,
Yeah.
cool, cool. So, just to get a premise, this is a prequel.
I mean, I'm buying the game. Like, I really have to go really.
I
I'm
want to.
buying the game.
I'm gonna have to go back and through this. If I have the patience, I'm gonna put a counter up for each game that you just like got on your buy list. Cause like this is just to tell you how good this showcase was. Like it's just like, yeah, that's got me. Like I feel you though. Gears, yeah.
I've been a big
So,
Gears fan since Gears 1. So, seeing Gears again and seeing, them go back to, the original and how I like my Gears, like I'm like, all right, yeah, like I'm gonna buy it. Like I ain't really got nothing to talk about. But
I am and have been a huge Gears fan. I have said on multiple occasions on this show in our early episodes that I think 1 through 3 is one of the greatest narratives in gaming. And I don't think it gets a lot of credit because everybody goes meatheads, meatheads. Nah, it's so much more than that. Um, E-Day being like the focus of this shit. And the way they did the trailer was a lot like the original trailer.
Yeah.
Because the thing that hooked you about the original trailer was is that you had this big motherfucker with a gun running through a city and he was scared.
Yeah.
Like it was vulnerability with that shit. He felt powerless. And young Marcus in that trailer was getting his ass beat. That man was getting thrown around like Gandalf from Fellowship of the Ring. He was getting his ass whooped.
Yeah, he was.
And then to bring like the Mad World song in there and they kind of remixed it a little bit and like played it throughout and they kind of like slowly pieced it together up until the end. And then you get Dom in there, which that's just like
Yeah.
niggas know, man. Dom is that nigga.
Yeah.
So like just the entire way they set this up because E-Day is played off as like this really huge traumatic fucking event through the first 3 games. And to actually get a chance to see how that plays out in a video game with a younger Marcus and a younger Dom. And I would think that they play this out basically to where it just connects right into one where Marcus is in jail when it starts. So I'm hoping that you get that connection and that they kind of remaster the first 3 games. Like 4 and 5 kind of don't exist to me. Like I played them, they was cool, but it took a lot of what made 1 through 3 great, and threw it in the trash.
So
As far as like story,
Halo 4 and 5, same type of
yeah,
vibe.
yeah, like the story and the connection between the characters, all that shit kind of just went out the window. I'm just excited for this shit to get back to what it is, like the horror aspects of it, just the darkness, and overall, like even again, big meaty motherfuckers with guns, and you still felt powerless. Like 1 through 3 felt like, yo, we're fighting a war that we can't fucking win.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to feel that again with this shit, man. This will make me hold on to a Game Pass subscription. So yeah, just give me a fucking date. I'm there.
Man, after all these years, you probably just made it dawn on me what got me about Gears. Like when I first bought it, because it was the commercial, like it was the Mad World commercial.
All the trailers,
like,
1 through 3, the CG trailers were incredible.
Yeah, but just the fact that the trailer had that vibe was different, like different enough to have me go into it with a different context. Like you said, like you do feel like you're just kind of up against the world. Like that joint did have a vibe of overwhelmed until you get the hammer going and all this. That was absolutely the vibe, even with all the meatheadedness of it. Like the fact that you're fucking enormous and your gun has a chainsaw on it and all that shit. If you look past that, there's a tragic story here, and that's dope. That's actually it's
And bring
why
back
this.
Carmine Depths.
Listen, I'm with all the Gears nostalgia that we can get in here because Gears 1 was the one that I played like all the way through and whatnot. Like I fell off pretty quick because I fell off with shooters to some degree. But Gears, like I said, it got me. So I'm all the way here for it, man. I love that. So, all right. So since we rated the last show before we finish up, because I know it's getting a little later, how will we rate Xbox?
That's a 10. I've given Microsoft so much shit over the years, as recently especially. They put their foot in this one.
Absolutely. I feel that. I probably have to give it a 10 too. I'm not even gonna hold back on that because it gave me everything that I look forward to in these type of shows. Like there was unexpected shit, expected shit. It was awesome.
Yeah. This E3, we want slappers, and it was a whole lot of slapping.
Yep.
I'll give it a 9.
No, man.
Like I said, I have to agree. I've given Xbox some shit. I normally call it the system that I put my drink on. So the fact that it did some things that I wanted to play, I have to give it credit for that.
Yeah, man. It was definitely the right type of showcase. This is what we come to these events for, man. And Xbox kind of finishing it off. It felt good. I know there's still some stuff coming up tomorrow throughout the week. Nintendo is definitely about to announce their showcase within if not this week, then next week. I feel like it's pretty safe bet. But yeah, this was a good way to finish off that actual first official Summer Games Fest weekend. And hopefully we got much more cool shit coming up soon. But like I said, I know this episode is running very long. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this one to a close. Definitely let us know how y'all felt about the press conferences. What was you guys' favorite announcement? Like, what's got you the most hype? We want to hear from you in the comments. Definitely leave them below. Hit us up on Twitter. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and give us those ratings on podcast services because they help us grow to become a better show for you guys. But until next time, man, I'm Kendall. It's been James and Tony. Make sure you guys keep getting